everyone, welcome back to some more of the, whoa, okay, right into a cutscene.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, they're sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I don't think we would want them to.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals?
No.
Every lord in their household has their share
No,
of
I'm
supporters
tired.
here,
I don't want to
and
talk to
luckily
locals.
For us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana.
Oh my god, just let me go through the tunnel. That entire episode is just talking. Oh, it's side quest. Maybe. Is it? I don't know. Hold on. Let me just... Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna skip through this. I don't care.
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
So we're finding out that they were decent people before they became lords? She's talking about her love for Dohalim.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from...
What?
Lord Ganabelt behind the scenes so he might emerge victorious. He's strict, but he puts written interest in front of everybody else. Okay, whatever. I don't care about these dead lords. I don't care if they had a tragic
Ganabelt was
backstory.
so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Just because they care about somebody doesn't mean they're a good person. Oh no,
This
there's
area
more.
doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed.
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Too bad. For that dead woman.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Harrows changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
That's dangerous.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan
Are
society.
you really trying to humanize these
Renans live in a
people?
world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us.
We are really trying to
So I
humanize
guess
them.
what I'm trying to say is,
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one.
But they were
I
bad.
think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
Wait, what? Have they mentioned the actual word human being? Maybe they have, but what I remember is, them always referring to each other as Danons and Renans. I don't know if they've ever said human being before. That's interesting.
What's this thing?
Because I always assumed it was the Danon race and the Renan race. They
There's
just look
something
similar.
I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone
But
ahead
if they're
as
all
planned,
humans,
right?
then they come from some origin
In
somewhere.
which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfrikt Milgras, the former lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfrikt whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegus?
I guess over Holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegus from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renan by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Okay. The heck is that noise? Okay, so I guess we just... Oh, cutscene?
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
Shut up.
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still... kill?
This giant
I'm here to
space
take care
station.
of something.
We
If you
come
wish to
across
continue
this
this
one
conversation,
person.
I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
How about no?
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Let it go. Oh, well. She's about to let it go for you.
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
What's this thing?
Tofu. I've never had tofu before. I feel like we've just done like a circle.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah. It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagin. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagin. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagin and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagin and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagin had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagin was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty. Instead, I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Dahnans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right.
We have a watcher.
Alphen,
A watcher!
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how
gone.
much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Alright. What was this again? All right. A kebab. Fancy parfait may not be a bad idea. Elemental defense up large. That may also not be a bad idea. Let's do that one.
This is perfect. I'll have everybody.
And I don't think I need any items. Although maybe this shop has some new armor. But I think I spent everything. Ah. Rending Titan Fang. That is a big gun. What the frick? So I can actually make a couple of these. I just need money. Damn. The thing is, I think I sold mostly everything already. Yeah, those are all equipped. Those are all equipped. I sold most of that. Yeah, I don't really have much left. Maybe we can get a couple weapons? Oh, also, were there any armors? Oh, shit. Oh, man. No, let's do the crafting. Especially for you, because that's a pretty huge buff. That's not too much of one. Mostly I just wanted to get you that cane. Alright. Any accessories? Revival chance? I don't have the crystal still. Oh, right, yeah, no. Interesting. No, we're good. We're good.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
Damn it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Level
Well,
44.
so much for them not wanting to fight.
I am Lord Dohalim of Elda Menencia. I command you.
Threats to the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one.
An astral arch?
That's my cue!
Shut him down.
Lightning
Coming through. Ha! Now,
How did I not
Scarlet
get
Inferno!
the burning one?
Here I go. This one's mine. This one's mine.
Its armor's too strong.
Split it open. Be my guest. Win. Mega Sonic Thrust. You're mine.
Sweet dreams!
This one's mine. Far enough.
Do it, Steel!
There we go.
Impact Claw. Now, here I come. Roll escape.
Break that armor. Gotcha. Might as well shield go up.
I'll take you all on.
Oh, get it.
Flare to Malisa.
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zeugles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Haros. The ones in blind devotion to Volron.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, we're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
Let me see, we did take a little bit of damage there. I guess, yeah, lemon gel. Lemon gel's fine. It's over here. Hello, puppies.
Out of our way.
Here I come. No escape.
It's confiscated!
What? Wrong person.
This one's mine.
These ones can bring rings around us!
Power of water. Lightning meteor.
Here's evil!
Ow!
Inferno crossing. It's far enough.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Son of a beat.
Crescent moon. Radiant star. Tiger blade.
Radiant?
Here.
You're mine.
I'm out of
Come
ammo.
this time.
Field!
Take this!
Lightning meteor.
Mirage.
Make it right.
Astral energy!
Kill this thing. Water bullet.
Not a chance.
Glacial spear.
Here's evil! Storm!
Void flash.
Lightning flare. Piercing roar.
Here, let me help.
Ow.
You picked the wrong fight.
Field!
Here I come.
Hurricane strike. This one's mine.
Not on my watch!
Void flash.
Do it, Ringwell.
And
Hammer.
sure, yeah, hammer.
Now.
Do it.
You're mine.
Astral energy! Full throttle!
Water bullet blast.
I feel sprightlier than before.
Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. So what are those things actually weak to? Light. Okay, so this thing's probably also weak to light. Which I don't think we have any... Do we have any light arts for you? We do. All the lightning thrust. And that's it. Okay.
Right. Here goes.
Yep.
You're mine. Try harder. Time to cross blade.
Anything in order is all mine. Going in. Round and pound.
Dazzle. Here I come.
Hear my call.
Void flash. Lay inside me.
Glacial spear.
Ow.
Flaming thrust. Soda.
Glacial
Thunder. Mirage. Dragon form. Here. It's hurricane station. I'll burn it all.
Burn it all.
Easter!
Wind astral energy! Dance in the wind! Here's the evil now! Inferno! Here's the evil!
Take it!
Here goes!
Try harder! My turn!
Freeze laser!
Win!
Not on my watch! Mega ray!
Damn it.
Be still!
Armor won't save you! I never miss!
Take
Here!
it! Move it! Get it!
I'll be saving this one!
Take it! No further!
By the Lord!
Move it! This one's all mine!
Raging storm!
Did that even hit me? From behind?
Long fight! Take it! Win!
I'll take you all on!
Best of luck, Kasara. What up?
Flare the Malisa! Ready to go!
Dazzle!
First illuminate the dark!
Take it!
This
I'm not done! You're on! Take it! I'm not done!
Out of ammo!
A charge like that could easily
Ah,
be
shit.
Just as well, I'm here to stop! Wonder Blade! It's go time! Going in!
Now you see what I can do.
Perfect zone!
Stardust!
Wonder Blade! Illuminate the dark!
Damn it.
Try harder! My turn! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! I'm not done! Stardust!
This one's mine!
I really gotta remove that other Stardust. When I'm casting Stardust twice, it's usually when I'm going to a different art, a different button, but I just happen to have it on two different things. Damn, Renwell.
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa! Here, let me help.
Here I come!
Appreciate anything in armor is all mine!
This one's all mine! Ignite! You're mine!
Armor won't save you! Tiger Blade!
Dragon Sword!
Inferno
Terrain Alpha!
This one
Be
is
still!
air thrust! Photon
Take it!
lightning!
Be still! Here I come!
Appreciate now! Switch to offense!
Kasara definitely has its attention.
Holy Land! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
You're mine! I'm not done!
Inferno cluster!
Take it! You're mine! I'm not done!
You made me angry! That was a bad idea!
Ow.
I'll take you all on!
My god, she has so many of these.
Flare the
Kind of her thing.
Searing flame! Denied!
I'm not...
I really should save her for the charge.
Frozen hammer!
It was a close thing.
Indeed. Okay, so arts. See, like this Stardust, I need to get rid of. Am I using Soaring Light Spear for anything? No. Okay. Let's put that there then.
Hi,
This
Hoodle!
one's all mine! Engaging! You picked the wrong fight! You're mine!
Inferno! I'm a true gunslinger around here.
Bring him down! Win!
Ow.
Here I
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Going in.
Ow.
Lightning!
I owe you one.
Going in. Do it! Get toasty!
Burn strike! Stardust! My turn! Lunarongo!
Nothing gets by me! This one's mine!
I'll burn it all!
Get that shit. Still alive.
We'll soon see about that. This ends now.
Woo, I almost missed that opening there. Let's stun this guy.
This one's mine. That'll bring you down.
Let's just keep on that combo. There we go.
Hammer.
My turn.
Graviton field. Not in your dreams.
I can carve through armor.
Raging
You're
Flame.
mine.
Going in.
Flaming thrust. Mirage.
Hurricane Storm. Illuminate the dark.
Sword Rain Alpha.
Look sharp.
Holy Glimmer. Holy Land.
Going in.
Really? I lost the combo again? Damn.
With this, I can become even stronger. Out of our way.
Oh god, now we got one of these damn things.
So much for talking it out.
Let's stun them.
Severing Wind.
Denied.
Take this.
Thanks, Gion.
Damn it.
Missed the combo. Damn it.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free.
You made me angry. That's what bad idea.
Not today. Here I come. Look sharp.
Alright, we got that time.
Lightning Tiger Blade.
Now.
Try harder. Not a chance.
Was not trying to dodge that one, but I'll take it.
Dragon Swarm. Be still. Soaring Light Spear.
This one's mine.
Mirage.
Damn it, missed it.
Back into the fray. By the
Flaming
power of
thrust.
water. Hurricane
Here I go. Strike.
Get to the wind now.
Eternal Gion.
Get toasty.
Burn.
Kick them bullets.
Now.
Shield
Could have been worse.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Oh god.
Is some
Another one, huh? Okay. Let's do orange gel. Okay, and then let's throw Dolim in here. Yeah.
someone making them stand guard over the...
Force Mantis.
In a bind. To be let free.
Ow.
Try harder. Not Let me save you. Not good. Ignite.
I did that too early. Wait, no, I still got this. Okay, never mind. I didn't do it too early. Thank goodness.
I'm out of ammo.
You're finished.
Magna Ray. Photon annihilation.
You're mine.
Are they on Winwell now? That's not good.
Thanks, Kisara.
I'm not done.
Look at me, you piece of shit.
Lightning. Still.
Flaming thrust. You're mine. Soaring blast. Save you. Now.
Woo! I'm surprised I got that dodge drop in time.
Ignite.
That was the last second.
Be still. Soaring light spear.
Wow. I didn't get hit by that.
Hold nothing back. Try harder. Now. Dragon Swarm. Eternal devastation. Sword Rain Alpha. Dazzle. Elusive deity. Mirage. Wind.
Damn, he got another charge.
I'll burn it all.
Normally they don't charge so quickly after the previous one.
Fire.
God, again?
Now! Here I come! Blackened blade! Burn in hell!
Heal circle.
Thanks! Eternal devastation!
Sorry for trouble.
Sword rain alpha! Fusion!
That helps.
Void flash! Soaring light spear!
Benediction light.
Here I come!
Oh, shit.
I'm knocked up!
Here goes.
Ah!
Magna Ray. Gotta hold it together. Annihilation. Do or die. Illuminate the
Sword rain alpha!
water. Ready to go.
Severing wind! Void flash!
Here, let me help.
Mirage! I owe you one.
Oh, I missed it! Fuck.
I never fit.
Severing wind! Strike!
Here, let me help.
You're mine!
I'll
All mine! Here I come! Milliscape! Eternal devastation! Sword rain alpha!
Lightning conduct.
Void flash! Eat dirt!
Thunderblade. Illuminate the dark. Red laser. Holy quiver. Not in your dreams.
You apart! You're mine! Wind!
Armor won't save you. Oh, violence.
Soaring light! Try harder! No!
What? What's going on? Just a massive blur. Got it.
Energy.
Say no more!
There's a moment where the entire screen was just pixelated. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening to my people?
I'll teach us for getting cocky.
No choice!
Oh, this is something.
Ready to go. It's like trying to keep up with a wolf. Radiant here. More bear.
Flaming thrust! The flame inside you!
Ow.
Being
Not
interrupted.
today!
Fury Lancer. Tunnel. Lightning condemned.
Sword rain alpha!
Illuminate the dark.
Wrong ability.
Where are you going? Holy Land.
Be still! You're mine!
Annihilation.
Void flash!
Take this!
Ow.
Benediction light.
Searing flame.
God.
Radiant flame.
Here! Can you take it? Coming through!
Let me just do it right now since there's so many enemies around me.
Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here. Let me help.
I owe you one. My God, blackened blade! This one's all mine! You're mine! Milliscape!
Here. Let me help.
You picked the wrong fight!
First aid. Heal.
Here I come! Be still!
God, it still hit me in the air.
Void
I'll
flash!
heal you all.
Strike! Void flash!
Not in your dreams. Do
Strike!
it.
River!
Astral energy.
Say no more! Not a chance!
Frickin' puppies.
Void flash!
Now.
Blow them
Beat its ass.
Not a chance! I'm not gonna take this!
Lightning.
Ah.
Radiant genesis.
Oh, those were annoying. Transcendent Pebble. Okay, more items. Orange shell. This is what I bought all these for. I'm starting to think that I went the main path and skipped the side one.
Don't get careless.
Don't tell me.
The sky is mine.
Be still! You're mine!
In here.
Is it too late to talk over our differences?
God, those freaking dogs. I missed?
Can you take it?
Don't get in my way.
Armor won't save you.
Benediction light.
Where are you going?
Dragon Swarm!
Calm down.
Ah, this dark void.
Flaming No further! No escape! You're finished!
Oh, violent guardian.
It's on!
Missed the combo, damn it.
Burn in hell!
Here's a healing arc.
Do it! Blow them away! Not a chance!
Seven Eye Hawk. Wind astral energy. Mega Ray.
Let's keep this stuff in the air.
Oh, violent guardian wind. Car power.
Oh, I was one way from getting the combo on it.
No further!
Annihilation. Mega Ray.
Strike! Mirage!
Wind astral energy. More where that came from. Raging hurricane. In here.
Oh god, I went right to the void.
Be still! No escape! Mirage! Here I come!
Supernova. Astral energy.
Say no more! My turn! No escape!
Ready to go.
Void flash!
Do it. Kisara.
Gotcha.
Hammer.
Once we get him into the air, that's
Still standing.
when they die. Let's see. Recover all.
Barely.
Out of our way.
On my lord!
Jesus.
I won't show you any mercy! Be still! You're mine! You picked the wrong fight! Here I come! I'm moving back! You're mine! Total devastation! Doubtful! Here I come! Sorry, spear! I can carve through armor!
I'm not gonna get the one that I want. I missed too much time. Never mind. I guess I did.
Flaming pillar! Fire!
Do I not have to actually hit with them? I thought I had to hit with the with every single one of them for it to work. I guess you don't, because I missed on a couple of those. That's why I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to get it.
In an instant! Impact block! Now! Here I come! Severing wind! Try harder! Not a chance! I'm not done! Void flash! In a bind? Strike! Void flash!
Gotcha.
Kisara! Now! Take it!
Ow, 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 ow.
Feel.
Wind! Out of the way! Light! Try harder! Not a chance! You are burn!
I'll heal you all. More where that came from.
Void flash!
Dance in the wind. Air thrust.
Void flash!
Light astral. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes!
Raging hurricane. In here. Free blade. This one's mine.
Void flash!
Got you in the air, buddy.
Void flash!
Confiscated.
We're not finished!
Gotcha.
Radiant Genesis.
My exploits are bearing fruit.
Yeah, I took the main path. There was another path, but oh well. I'm not gonna go all the way back there. Well, there's like some cool item back there though. Oh, it's fine, it's fine. I can just fast travel back to the beginning of the dungeon and do it that way. I just gotta get another fast travel point deeper in. So I can check later.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But
Oh.
it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got this. Gonna put my hand on a wall, probably, and it'll open. Some, like, circular runes will appear, unlock the door. Or that. Ah, speak friend and enter. I've seen this
Interesting.
movie.
If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
The hell?
What the?
Is it a portal? What the fuck? A
Alphen.
flashback?
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
The audio
Still,
almost
as a Renan,
sounds
at
like
least
it's
you got
been
to
like
decide.
blown out.
Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth.
Also some like weird reverb.
When this
or
is
something?
over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same.
Okay.
We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
They all saw that?
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imaris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Dahnan astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegus. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened.
I don't
Besides, if it
he has
helps
a
us
choice.
uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
Okay. Well, we're gonna find out what happens in there in the next episode, everybody. So thanks for watching. It looks like we're finally going to be getting all of the answers for the origin story part of this game, which is pretty exciting, honestly, because I'm really curious to find out everything that happened before the ceremony and then especially after, when apparently someone went on a bloody rampage. So we'll find all that out, I'm guessing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody.